Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. We're at Legends this morning. If you didn't know, Legends started out in Lawrenceburg in 1988 to tell us how the business has evolved, how the focus is on patrons and those coming in the door and the food, the fresh food. We have Bill Osborne. He's the Director of Operations here at the Legends location in Smyrna. First off, Bill, thanks for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too. I walked in. I have to admit, I don't think I've ever dined at a Legends. Shame on me. But I walk in and it is just very nicely put together, and then you guys have this really cool salad bar.
We do.
Before we get to that, talk to us how things have evolved. Again, you guys made it through COVID, and here you are.
Well, we started in 1988 in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Johnny Fleeman, who's the owner of the company, and I became a partner with Johnny and been with him about 25 years, I guess. I couldn't even really tell you what year I started working with Johnny, but we went to church together, and so we just kind of hit it off, and I went to work for him, and we went from 2 restaurants to we now have 6 restaurants, and we have evolved through COVID and all that, all that's going on. Of course, we've always had a salad bar. Even back in 1988, we had a salad bar.
Okay.
And so, but the salad bar has grown to what we have now, with just more items, and just keep trying to make it better, for our customers. And then, of course, COVID shut the salad bar down.
Right.
But as far as how we evolved, it's just been locally owned, independent restaurant guys. Neither Johnny or I, either one, actually went to any kind of culinary school or anything like that. It's just been self-taught. It's all about the food. I always say it's all about the food, as I was telling you earlier, but it's really about the people. It's my employees, the customers. It's all about the people. Then it comes back to the food.
Gotcha.
So people are not going to come if your food's not even good.
Right.
So our philosophy is just make sure that food is the best it possibly can be. And by doing that, we always try to start with fresh.
Right.
If you start out with something good, you got a good chance to finish with good.
Right.
That's kind of been our philosophy. So that's kind of, it's been a long journey. But as far as the history of the restaurant, the first restaurant was a Brass Lantern in Lawrenceburg in 1988.
Wow.
And then we opened up the Legends in Columbia. Johnny couldn't decide what he wanted to call the restaurant. He didn't want to call it the Brass Lantern. And had a little computer there, had a little 486 computer, had the name Legends on it. And he thought, hey, Legends. That's what I'm going to call it, Legends. And so then we decided, okay, Legends, every town you go to, there's legends in that town, the history of the town.
You're right.
So who and what made Columbia or Smyrna or whatever what it is today, it's the legends of that town. So we focus on the history, and throughout our restaurant, you'll see some of that. So that's kind of how Legends, the name, came about.
So looking at your salad bar, I have to admit, fun fact about me, I love salad bars. If this was the last food left, I'd love it. Looking down, you have a nice variety.
Well, we do, and like I said, during COVID, of course, we all know what happened in COVID. They shut all the food bars down, whether it's buffets, salad bars, whatever. So we stopped doing the salad bar. And honestly, I never intended on bringing it back.
Really?
Yeah, it was very labor intensive, and labor is a big issue this day and time in our world, as far as people out there that are in business understand that. And so, I don't know. We at the Lawrenceburg store, we just constantly people saying, when are you going to bring the salad bar? Yeah, we like this new item, but when are you going to bring the salad bar back? And so we finally gave in, brought the salad bar back down there. It's been about 17 weeks now.
Okay.
We're on our 8th week here in this store and bringing the salad bar back to Smyrna. What I find in the restaurant business, in the restaurant industry over the years, that most restaurants, it's too much trouble to make it from scratch because it's labor intensive and all of that. So they tend to bring things in already done, okay? Because it's easier, it takes less labor and all that, but it's not near as good. So my focus and our focus, Johnny and I, has always been, is if we can make it better than we can buy it, we're going to make it. And a lot of the recipes, like our lunches that we do now, we've been doing for years. Johnny's mom helped him with that, because Johnny and I, like I said, we went to the same church. We still go to the same church together. But on every 5th Sunday, we'd have 5th Sunday dinner, and the women would bring these dishes in. And so Johnny wanted to do lunch. And so we did what we call our meat and three, our express lunch, and it has your casseroles, your pinto beans, your cream corn, your green beans, cornbread. We only do it at lunchtime that we do, and again, that's less than $9. but it's not about the price, it's about the quality.
Right.
It
Quality,
really is.
yes.
Yeah, every bit of that. And so that's where a lot of our recipes evolved from.
That's cool.
And we still do a lot of those recipes. Miss Faye, she's still alive today, and so we still do a lot of her recipes in our restaurants. That's kind of how Johnny got his lunch started.
See, guys, this is what I love. I love hearing stuff like this. Like, who would have known? Who would have known?
That's
Back
right,
in
that's
the
right.
late '80s, Legends starting and these recipes coming from the family and then evolving from that.
We always say, we're a couple of country boys from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, in the restaurant business, but we're not a mom and pop operation. We've been in business for 35 years, so we've made a lot of mistakes. Trust me, a lot of mistakes, and we'll continue to make those. The number one thing I will tell people is when you come into this restaurant and you don't get what you pay for, you don't owe me anything, and that's the bottom line. If you don't get what, because we're human,
Right.
We're going to make mistakes.
Yes,
and I
everyone's
promise
human.
you, if you'll let us know, then we'll make it right every single time. No questions asked. I just want people to get their money's worth, to enjoy the dining experience that we have, and not a mom and pop operation, but we are an independent small company, and we're independent. And so I can change my menu today, where a lot of corporate restaurants out there can't do that.
Thank you for giving us a little
Absolutely.
insight into
Absolutely.
Legends. Again, this is Legends in Smyrna. We have the Director of Operations, Bill Osborne, sharing some of the history and then what makes them so special. So again, thanks so much.
You're so welcome. I've enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Happy to hear that.
Good.
Stick with us right here. We have more coming up on Mornings on Main Street after this.